2 மணி நேரம் ஆயிடுச்சு அதுக்குள்ள. ம்.
அந்த பெட்ரூம் என்னோடது வரவே இல்லையா? எல்லாம் வந்துட்டாங்க எல்லாரும்.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Saraswati.
Good morning.
Ma'am,
Good morning,
morning.
Shanti ma'am. Saraswati.
Ma'am, good morning.
Morning, Bhuneshwari ma'am. Saraswati here.
Good morning.
Okay. So you can see my face?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
can see my face? That's right.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to. Like, do I need to adjust the camera?
Yeah, this is fine, sir.
Is it okay? This is fine.
Amachan sir will join in a few minutes. Sir will join in another 10 minutes. Sir facing some technical issues. Good morning.
Good morning, Professor sir.
Thanks a lot.
Namaskaram sir.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, we can start now.
Sir?
We can start.
Yeah. So register is yet to join. I'm just holding a couple of minutes.
Yes, I am ready.
Yeah, we can start.
So, very good morning to one and all present here. The galaxy of intellectuals, excellency, guests, faculties, and my dear friends. Today, we have gathered together for a formal inauguration of our research forum, where the researchers at every stage get a chance to interact with other researchers on discussion boards, exchange information and suggestions, and also receiving constructive criticism on their research. The forum also bridges an ecstatic professional network to stay up to date on the contemporary practices in their respective domain. With these words, let me take the honor to invite Dr. Paul Jacob, sir, Director, CNK Associates, LLP Chennai, to deliver the welcome address. We are truly privileged to have a distinguished personality like you amongst us, sir. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all our distinguished guests, Dr. Shanti, HOD of the Commerce Department, Dr. Amachan, Dr. Gurusamy, so a host of others. I see a lot of familiar names. Good morning to all of you. I'll just take a few minutes. It's Dr. Shanti's initiative to put this forum together to help the research students and also draw upon the rich experience of the earlier our doyens in the research and academic fraternity. Before we lose all that skill, because nowadays we don't get much of books, so we have to listen to, the only forum now is to listen to people, so nothing is hardly being written. So I think it's a very great initiative to help our upcoming research scholars. We are also aware of the changes in the NEP, and and so many changes coming in, and quality of research, industry-oriented research, and etc. and so on. So I thought I'll just start off by throwing forward a few questions to our speakers and our research associates, where today we find most of our research, at least globally, is being focused on environment. It's not just the global warming, it's a much bigger subject now. It's become mandatory in certain areas, including India. So one is on the environment, and we have a lot of commerce focus on that. And the other is cybersecurity, which is not necessarily a computer subject. Again, it is a whole commerce thing, because finally all the thieves are after money. They are not after the computers or data. They're only after money. So commerce holds a lot of potential in research in those areas. So just to kind of look at very quickly at what we have, I'm sure the speakers will touch on this, on time management for our scholars, on also the funds for the research, because sometimes they have to do it on a shoestring budget, and networking for the research scholars, because they mostly depend on their own friends and contacts. So we need to move on to larger networks, and we also
So
large
40
amount
rupees.
of secondary information which has to be processed apart from primary, because we are more focused on taking questionnaires where the
Yeah,
collection of
four
data
because-
becomes restricted. We can use a lot of data out there on the
Yeah,
net,
four-
and publishing in very impactful publications, not just for the sake of publishing, but also for the sake of reaching global, the researchers across the world, because some of you must be getting mail from US, different countries, where they look at your papers and they get back to you. We also look at this intellectual property registration, because most of our research just dies as it is. But if it can be, if there's something which can be patented or copyrighted, it should be done. And also we look at the most important part, which is the academic and scientific ethics, which probably we don't stress on too much in our research methodology. So we could look at that. And finally, I thought we could stay ahead of technology. There's an initiative from the old Students Association. That's the alumni of the university, where they have online classes. So maybe we could introduce some of these classes also. So with that long lecture which I gave, we welcome again all our distinguished guests, and particularly Dr. Amachan, Dr. Usami, Dr. Shanti, and a whole host of people. I see all their names here. So welcome to each one of you to this initiative of the head of the department of the Commerce Department. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for adding immense value to our event. Would anybody like to discuss with sir anything? They can unmute themselves. Yeah. Shall we move forward?
Yeah, but we'll go ahead now, because I think the others are real speakers. I just started the thing, so it's fine.
Sure, sir. Let me now take the honor to invite Dr. S. Elumalai, sir, Registrar, University of Madras, to formally inaugurate the Research Forum. Sir is known for his extraordinary vision, speaking extempore and source of inspiration to all of us. I once again invite Sir to do the honors. Sir, over to you.
Sir is not able to join due to some technical issues. Maybe he will join little later. He asked us to go ahead with the program. Now I'll just introduce about the Research Forum. Pranams to my gurus, Dr. D. Amachan sir, Dr. M. Ranganathan sir, and Dr. N.P. Srinivasan sir. Most respected S. Gursami sir, dear colleagues, most respected Paul J. sir, Mr. Pathivan sir, who is also a treasurer from Commerce Alumni Association. There are many professors, research scholars from other colleges, universities have joined. And to everyone, a very pleasant morning to all. why this research forum? I'll just share only two incidents which had a profound insight on me. One, when I joined, usually Amachan sir will ask questions in a very typical way. From a layman's point of view, I do not know about marketing, I do not know about finance, but from a layman's point of view, I'm asking these questions. And many times we used to fumble, we may not be able to answer a lot. And the second incident is that after my registration, 1990s, I had a discussion with my guru, Dr. M. Ranganathan sir. And when I discussed about few issues, he said, "Did you visit USIS? Yes, sir. Did you refer this book? Yes, sir. Page number 142? Yes, sir." And this is the, I was just fumbled up. Then I thought, okay, to start as to, if I want to survive, if I want to reach a certain height, I should be very strong in fundamentals. I thank both the professors for instilling that particular insight, that research insights in me, and they just molded me throughout. And I thank N.P. Srinivasan sir, because he is the one who started this alumni association. And I thank our former professor and head, Gurusamy sir, always there to help us. And this is, so when I usually go for conduct research methodology, conduct Viva, usually there is a lot of fundamental flaws will be there. And the usual comment from other professors is that the quality of the research has come down. When I had a discussion with the research scholars, they told me that they told me that the exposure you get in university, we do not have an access to that. So I thought, let me just have a simple platform whereby we can just call experts so that the research scholars can learn, share, and interact with them. I also learned a lot from Professor P.T. Srinivasan sir, former professor in HOD MBA department, and Professor M. Swaminathan sir, professor from psychology department, who taught me preparation of questionnaire and other things. So I thought, and P.K. Vishwanathan sir, who is nearing 80 and who always talks with a childlike enthusiasm about modeling and other things. So we thought only the idea is mine, to tell you very frankly. I received support from many, and it is just because of them I've started. And my special thanks to Parthipan sir, our alumni, 92-94 batch, MCOM 92-94 batch, who helped in mobilizing funds and and assisted in technical support. And with this few words, let us just hear from Amachan sir, and many are waiting for him to hear. So thank you for accepting our invitation, and thank you all.
Sir, Paul J.K. sir, I'll just interject for a minute. Sir, I also want to thank Mr. N.P. Srinivasan, Dr. Ranganathan, and late Dr. Nelson Samuel, who were my colleagues in my early years in the department. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And ma'am, it's your implicit dedication and hard work that has paved way for such an incredible platform. And we thank you genuinely for that, ma'am. Thank you so much. Next, we have with us Dr. S. Gurusamy, Sir, Professor and Head, Dean Academic Department of Commerce, to deliver the Felicitation address for this auspicious event. Sir is known to be a man of distinct vision and a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, and idol of knowledge, and of course an inspiration to all of us. I request Sir to do the honors. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for these words. Esteemed Registrar of this university, Professor Yerumalai, my esteemed Guru and Professor Dr. Amarchand, whom I consider as the doyen of commerce and research in commerce. Esteemed Professor N.P. Srinivasan, respected Professor Ranganathan, esteemed Dr. Shanti, Professor in Department of Commerce, University of Madras, my good friend and former Professor and Head Department of Commerce, Dr. Rangarajan, of course, he's now the Professor of Commerce there, and Dr. Paul Jayakar. Am I audible to you? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Dr. Kalevani, Dr. P.K. Viswanathan, and research scholars, dear students of the Department of Commerce, University of Madras. Good morning to everybody. I'm really delighted to be part of this research forum, the webinar on the approach to research in commerce being organized by the Department of Commerce in association with the Madras University Commerce Alumni Association. I think should really be of benefit and use for the research scholars. And as Dr. Paul Jaker said, will unveil a lot of opportunities for researchers to network and then to do value-based, quality, ethical research. In fact, I have all the respects and regards for Dr. Amarchand sir. We used to be very critical about researchers. We always say we should not be simply be doing research unless and until there is a need for research. When you want to do a research, there should be a basis for research. In the sense, you have to have a research done only for the sake of finding solution to a problem, not for the sake of getting a PhD degree or not for the sake of getting incentives by way of monetary or non-monetary incentives. So thankfully, when the UGC wanted to encourage, in fact, UGC was very particular that in higher education, especially in the realm of humanities and social sciences, where there was not much of a research happening, it wanted to incentivize people to pursue PhD research. And therefore, many of my own colleagues and research, students came forward, registered themselves for PhD, and a lot of researches happened. Unfortunately or fortunately, the quality of research has not been so good, and it has all diluted researchers. It was all repeated researchers, and which our esteemed professor used to lament. And therefore, now fortunately, the UGC has undone the whole thing. No, it is no longer required for a person to have PhD degree to be eligible to work in a college. If net or SLET is there for a person, he or she can become a teacher in a college or university. And this is what I also feel. There is no longer any necessity for the UGC to incentivize unnecessarily people, to motivate them to do unnecessary research which is not going to have any value neither to the students, nor to the university, nor to the society. So instead of doing such researches, if a student or if a researcher or if a teacher concentrate more in acquiring knowledge, subject knowledge, and then delivering to the students, that will be of huge value. In fact, in my days in the 80s, my teachers never had PhD. They used to be wonderful teachers. We had a lot of opportunity to learn from them, and whatever knowledge we gained from them, it was all from them. They never had any PhD. Therefore, the point I'm trying to tell you is this: in this forum, the research forum, which has been promoted by the University of Madras to instill among the budding researchers the point that they should not be simply be doing research just for the sake of doing research. So there has to be a basis for research. And then I will just make one more observation before I close. So what I would suggest is this: in the UGCs, you have a lot of funding agencies like the UGC, and then you have, for example, other funding is also available. So I would suggest a person, for example, let her do a research, and all these research papers or research work by way of PhD thesis must be pooled and must be submitted to a committee. And that particular committee should examine, should assess, and based on the quality of the research work done by the candidate, they have to arrive at the points. For example, 10 points, 20 points, 30, 75, 100. So those who secures points above 75, they should be given the incentives of reimbursing whatever money they have spent towards research for the entire 2-year period or 3 years period or 5-year period. The UGC or the committee should have the mechanism to incentivize of reimbursing 200% of the money that has been spent by the student. So that way you can really incentivize the students who are really, incentivizing them to do a purposeful, impactful, useful research, and not simply allowing everybody to research. And I would end by saying that you have to definitely, have students who have really be motivated in research, in doing research and choosing the topic of contemporary nature, and then which are futuristic in nature in the realm of commerce and management. The most happening realm, in the entire world of education, the entire world of research, and this has to be harvested to the best interest of our students and the academic community. So with these words, I would like to congratulate the head of the Department of Commerce, Dr. Shanti, for organizing such a wonderful webinar. And I would like to thank congratulate the other faculty members in the Department of Commerce, Dr. Rangarajan, Professor of Commerce, Dr. Bhuvaneshwari, Dr. Yuvaraj, and then would like to compliment and congratulate all the research scholars and participants who are taking part in this webinar. And I would like to express my pranams to my Guruji, my professor, not my professor actually directly, but my esteemed Professor Dr. Amarchand, by Dr. Ranganathan, Dr. N.P. Srinivasan, and whole host of other luminaries in the realm of commerce. So thank you so much for the opportunity, everybody. Thank you so much. And I would like to wish the webinar a grand success.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing your gracious presence and words of wisdom. Thank you once again, sir. I'm profusely elated to take this opportunity to introduce Dr. T. Amarchand, sir, former. We are privileged and honored to have you amongst us for the enriching session on an approach to research in commerce. Without any further delay, I hand over the session to you, sir. Amarchand, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir?
Am I able to speak? Are you able to listen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay,
You're able to hear, sir.
let's start.
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. And Professor Shanti, Professor Gurusamy, and Mr. Paul Jayakar, my colleague, and a host of other guests. Thank you very much for remembering me even 22 years after my retirement. And we just had our casual meeting, that is myself and Professor Shanti and two more people. And at that time, I suggested that our research should take a different direction. So she took that as a topic itself and organized this thing, then had to agree. Now, a few words about this subject before I come to the subject. So I would like to say that I had the opportunity to guide 40 PhD research works and was an external examiner for an equal number of PhDs and was a vice examiner for about 20-25 PhDs in the course of my 25 years of service in the University of Madras. And incidentally, it was a chance factor that the first PhD in commerce of the University of Madras was under my guidance. So I opened the PhD account of commerce in the University of Madras. Of course, it goes on now. I'm still following what is happening in other universities and feel that we need some kind of rethinking about commerce as a separate, unique discipline. Instead of getting into management or economics or something else or behavior, why not identify that this is the area of commerce in which we can do exceedingly well, and we are the specialists. We have a unique approach in this area. I will say a few words for about 20 minutes of what I think about all these things. Recently, I saw one title. The title was like this. consumer attitude towards buying luxury cars in selected districts, etc., etc. The study of, and usually the student will go and collect data from various consumers, and they say why they bought this car, etc., etc. Well, instead of spending 2 years on this, he would have gone to the salesman, he would have explained the whole thing in a matter of 15 minutes. All his findings will come in 15 minutes from the experienced salesman, why people buy this car, etc. Anyway, so we are thinking that the studying consumer attitude at the end consumer is commerce. Okay, but there are a lot of other things which can go. See, go by the word commerce itself. Commerce means trade. We will start from foreign trade, which offers so much scope to learn and to do research. The import and export of goods and services from India is a vast area to learn. For the commerce student, think of the variety of goods, the volume of goods, the value of the goods, and the destination of these goods, the shipping and clearing agencies, etc. All are researchable topics. There are legal restrictions, taxes, duties, etc. and all that. Everything requires a study. And I am sure many of us or most of us have not visited a port. You have gone to the railway station, airport, but not to the shipping. No, we should visit a port, see how the activities there, and particularly see a container ship, how goods are transported, how many things are processed, or procedures are involved in that, and that will give a feel of the situation. Okay. Then one can study on a macro basis the pattern of trade between one country and another, say between India and China, or the past 10 years. What are actually being imported, what are being exported, why we are importing those things, why we are exporting certain things. These are all questions to be understood. And there is something called international commodities market. Every day you see the commodities market, oil, gold, and so many other things.
மீட்டிங் ஒண்ணு இருக்குடா திவா எங்க என்னடா பண்ற ஏய் திவா டீ குடியாடா வாடா வாடா
Sorry, okay. It all happens. These things also happen when you go to a port, you will hear many such things. Okay. Then, when we have spoken about the trade in goods, export, import. Trade in securities, which is nothing but called as stock exchange. Our students must be also taken to a stock exchange. They must observe, see how bidding takes place. Okay, then that's a separate thing. Then the brokers, how they fix the prices, how prices move about in a day, etc. What causes them to move up and above, all these things are our study. Then there is a SEBI, what is called a Securities Exchange Board of India, which regulates all these things. How they regulate, why they regulate, when they get into the picture, all these rules are also worth studying. There is a new legal currency called Bitcoin, and government of India has also introduced what is called digital currency recently. We may not be able to do research at this point, but it's important to know how this system works. Okay. Then a related subject to this trade, etc., is insurance. Insurance is a very big business. The business is growing very fast, especially the health insurance. As both diseases and hospital expenses are increasing, everyone needs an insurance. And there can be both the studies from both the insurer side and the beneficiary side. Then there are many insurances, goods insurance, etc. Then come to GST, state GST, central GST. On goods and services, the charging GST and CST on services. What services? And who pays? What is the impact? Where the money comes? Where from the money comes? Where it goes? These are all big studies. Now, Then we can also think of studying marketing of services, not the marketing of goods. See, the services is, for example, when you buy a, let's say, a water purifier, that fellow says you take an AMC, annual maintenance charge. Quite often, the maintenance charge is much higher than the cost of the product itself. They make the entire money by charging you for their services. Then people use a lot of statistics and mathematics. I agree, this is necessary for when a lot of data are available. You have to use it by, apply it only by using statistics and what is called factor analysis are quite often used. Use it, but the researcher must understand it first, how it works, and then use it. Instead of outsourcing everything, data analysis as well as its findings, better understand how the system works, how to interpret it, etc. I have a serious question here, right from the beginning to today. We write a portion called literature survey. Actually, where from it actually starts? From which date your literature started, and you are covering all those areas. If it is a consumer, who was the first author in your subject? Then who came, what turned up, what turned in a different direction? What are all the developments in this research of your area? That is, what is called literature survey part. I don't think that people just start somewhere and quote some 10 or 15 items and end up that this is my literature survey. Anyway, then one more thing. People are publishing online papers online in online journals. Who reads them? The people who want to write papers read these online papers in order to write papers. This goes on. Nobody to whom, no policy maker or no manufacturer or nobody worth. He reads all this. Only this, it is going on between these people only. Why not do it in such a way that somebody who makes decisions is able to read it? So, if you have done all these things, as a commerce, you focus all your attention in the area of trade, internal trade, external trade, related services, and services marketing, etc. So this is your unique area in which others will not come. You need not claim to be a manager or anything else. Here you can establish your what is called uniqueness of the commerce, your specialty also. Finally, when you have written the entire thesis part, give a quality look into that. How is the overall quality of my own work? That looking at from the quality angle is absolutely necessary. That improves your whole presentation. So finally, I will conclude by simply saying that commerce should be given a unique identity by taking up more research in the area of trade, internal, external, trade in services, trade in goods, and all other trade related things, law, taxes, etc. That will give you a better identity. Why not try for something else? Visit a port at least. Thank you, and thank everyone involved in this. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. If anybody wants to ask any query or discuss something with sir, you can unmute yourself and discuss. Is there any query or should we move forward?
Okay, thank you. I'll take leave then.
One second, sir. I now request Mr. K. Parthiban, sir, Public Relation Officer, TNPL Chennai, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir. Parthiban, sir. Sir, are you there?
So all right, we'll take it. He has given the vote of thanks. Okay. And tell Professor Shanti that I will send a copy of these things by mail. And if somebody is interested, you can go through that later on.
Right, sir. Sure, I'll do
Thank
that,
you.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
So we come to the end of session 1, and thank you everybody to making me fruitful on making the entire session fruitful. Now we'll take a break of 5 to 10 minutes and rejoin, and for yet another enlightening session on data analysis for research by Ranganathan sir. So we'll see you soon in 10 minutes. Please rejoin in the same link. Thank you.
சாப்பிடல விடு இல்ல வேணாம் வேணாம் சாப்பிட விடு சாப்பிடலன்ட்டு விடு சாப்பிட சொல்லு வேணாம் வேணாம் விடு வரேன் இரு.
Welcome back, everybody. I request everybody to please switch on their videos. We're going to start our session. Okay. So we are greatly privileged and indebted to Professor Dr. Srinivasan Sir, who founded MUCA in the year 2001. I request and invite Sir to address the gathering with his words of wisdom. Please do the honor, Sir. You are mute. Sir, please unmute yourself. Still on mute, sir. Sir? No, you are still on mute, sir. We are not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay.
Please carry on, sir.
Okay. Yes. So good morning to all participants. So I am very happy to participate in this forum, this function. Say regarding research experience, my experience, I would like to share a few thoughts. See, as really, I gave importance to research in order to improve my what to say the of even see when I started think about research, I met Dr. Amarchand to start with MPhil program. So actually, I applied for a part-time MPhil course, but I was not given the opportunity to join part-time. So then Dr. Amarchand told me that you prepare to join course on loss of full-time. Then I readily agreed to join the course on loss of pay. See, I was for 1 year without any pay. I was lecturer in Pachavas College. So I sacrificing my salary. I joined and did my research. And afterwards I got opportunity to pursue further research on FIP, Faculty Improvement Program. So like that, so with real interest, I joined a research course. So I request the research scholars to do research with real interest, not for getting increment or just for any other purpose. So anyway, see, a few words about research. So for research scholars, I can say regarding the selection of topic, they must do a full review of literature survey. See, literature survey is for two purposes. One is to know about the area of research. Second thing is to avoid plagiarism. Say so that that is when you read number of books and other research works also. So such works should not be repeated. Plagiarism should be avoided. So that then in the selection of the topic, broader area, then in the broader area, then they should narrow down to the specific topic and select a particular topic. And in that case, they must understand their own strength and weaknesses. So strength should be knowledge in the subject, and weakness that by reading a number of books and other things. So like that, so they should select the right topic and collection of data, analysis of data, and thesis writing. They're all, they must take very careful steps and do the job very critically. So anyway, here but I was not prepared to talk anything on the subject. So that's why I could not say anything usefully. But however, I thank Dr. Santi for asking me to share a few words. Anyway, on some other occasion, definitely I will come prepared and give a very valuable lecture. So thanks everybody for giving me this opportunity. So thanks, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. It is really our honor to have you and hear you, sir. So thank you so much once again for gracing the occasion, motivating, guiding, and encouraging the research scholars too, sir. Thank you once again. Now let me call upon Mr. K. Parthiban, sir, Public Relation Officer, TNPL Chennai, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir. Parthiban, sir.
Thank you, madam. Traveling. Anyhow, this is a wonderful event where we all have together to witness an array of wonderful educational leaders to deliver their views and all their knowledgeable ideas. On behalf of MUCA, I just want to thank first our beloved Dr. Amarchand sir for gracing us with this expertise and insights at the event on research analysis. Dr. Amarchand's profound knowledge and captivating presentation have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of the subject matter. This will give wonderful insights I believe, to all the participants in this event. And to start with Dr. Shanti, ma'am, President of MUCA, HOD of Commerce Department, has initiated this program. It's a wonderful initiative, and she has started taking little earlier about this program, at least 2 or 3 months earlier before itself, like to start with such a program to give a contribution to the this educational gathering. And similarly, Dr. NPS Srinivasan sir has participated. Dr. Gurusamy sir in the beginning has given some preface or his insights about the program to be followed in the future. Also, he has given some idea, and I think everything will be carried on in the future. And for the wonderful gathering, and Mrs. Saraswati, who has compared this program, I should thank you so much. And other dignitaries like distinguished guests, other scholars, researchers, and professors, I should thank you all for participating and taking a good takeaway from this event. And we have another event to continue. I think we can continue this as per the schedule. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bhagavat, sir. So now, without any further delay, let's launch the presentation. So, may I invite Dr. Ravi Kalipani from Principal Chalapattu College. Kalevani ma'am. So we are waiting for the answer. I request everybody to stay on mute and we'll once Ranganathan. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, there is no audio. I'm not able to hear anything.
Hello? Hello?
So sir is joining in a few couple of minutes. We are just waiting for him.
Okay, but there's no audio, so I thought.
No, there's no audio
But
call. We are just waiting for him, sir.
sure. Thank you. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Same link for the next session also. Yeah. Sir has joined. We will resume now. Sabina.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yeah, Dr. Sabine. நமக்கு தெரியலையா? யாரு?
Shall we start?
And sir, one
Okay.
little
Okay.
formality is there, sir. A couple of minutes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Good morning, Professor Ranganatham.
Good morning, sir.
PKV here. PKV.
Hello. Namaskaram.
நமஸ்காரம்.
நல்லா இருக்கீங்களா?
நல்லா இருக்கேன் சார், பரவாயில்ல.
Nice to see you after a long time.
லாங் டைம். லாஸ்ட் இயர் கொஞ்சம் ஹெல்த் இது இருந்தது. ஒரு 23 ஜனவரியில் ஐ ஹேட் லாஸ்ட் இயர் ஒரு ஹார்ட் பம்பிங் ப்ராப்ளம் கொஞ்சம் இருந்தது.
Oh, I see.
இட்ஸ் ஓகே நவ்.
Oh.
Morning, sir. Saraswati here, sir. Ranganathan, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you, madam?
Fine, sir.
Okay. You are in which college now?
Nandanam only, sir.
Nandanam. Okay.
அதே மியூசிக்கல் வாய்ஸ் தான் ரங்கநாதன். சம்திங் யூனிக் அபவுட் யுவர் த சாஃப்ட் அண்ட் ஜென்டில்.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, எப்படி இருக்காங்க, sir?
Everyone is fine. நல்லா இருக்காங்க.
Okay, sir.
Professor sir, good morning. P. Ravi.
Good morning. Hello, sir. Surprising.
இல்ல சார், நீங்க வரையினா நாங்க இல்லாம சார் போவோம். We will stop all our work to listen to you.
How are you, sir?
With all your good wishes, God's grace, I'm fine, sir.
How is your daughter?
எல்லாம் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்காங்க சார்.
Very nice. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. Happy to see you after a long time, sir.
How are you? Where are you
Fine, sir.
now?
Sastra University, Chennai campus, sir.
Oh, very good. Very good. What are you teaching?
For MBA and commerce, sir. Marketing and financial accounting.
Oh, very nice. Shastra. Nice.
You, Shanti ma'am. Yes, sir. After a long time, all the legends we are meeting in the same single platform, sir. Thank you. Thank you for Shanti ma'am also, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, where is this campus? Shastra campus.
Chennai Vadaprani, sir.
Vadaprani.
Last year only they have started in Chennai, sir.
Oh, okay. Nice. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Sabina, I'm not able to hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yeah, Kalaivan was fine. Kalaivan joined. Yeah. Dr. Sabina, we are not able to hear you. Maybe now I request Dr. Kalevani ma'am, former principal, to formally welcome the gathering.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, all of you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning to all of you. And Honorable Resource Person, Dr. M. Ranganathan, former Registrar in Charge, former Professor and Head of the Department of Commerce, University of Madras, is agreed to give a discussion in joining the webinar on data analysis for research. I welcome you, sir, as a research scholar during 2001 to 2009. Really, I gained a lot of things, and you got a very rich experience in the research and approaches to the students. On behalf of the Madras University Commerce Alumni Association and Researchforum, I welcome Professor Dr. Ranganathan. I would be like to extreme our resource person, Professor Ranganathan, an esteemed figure in the academic line and brings decades of experience and expertise in forefront of commerce education. Dr. Ranganathan is a resource for the mentoring and dedication to the welfare of students, containing the contribution significantly to the academic community as a guest faculty in the Department of Humanities and Social Science at the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. His guidance extends beyond the classroom, nurturing the holistic development of individuals and instilling them in a passion of lifelong learning. I also extend my welcome to all the participants who are registered and waiting for the discussion. I am thankful to the director R. Shanti for giving me an opportunity to welcome our great resource person. Really, each and everyone has got a very good expectation. Sir is a person who is very approachable, and in the nearly 10 years, I have got intimated relation with him, and thereby he'll be giving a very good discussion about data analysis. Thank you, sir. I welcome Professor and all the participants. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kalevani.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Shall we begin?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Professor Shanti.
Madam, Shanti madam.
Oh, sir,
all the best. All the best. Carry on.
Yeah, Dr. Rangan.
No, it's okay. It's okay. All the best.
Sir, to say a few words about the research forum and deliver the felicitation address.
No.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, sir. All the best. Thank you, sir.
Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Professor Shanti and Dr. Kalevani and dear online participants, senior professors and senior research scholars and young research scholars, I welcome all of you for this chat, we can say. After a long time, I'm happy to meet all of you for a talk And this is a kind of free forum where you can share your views. When Shanti suggested that I should address you, I was wondering what to talk. There are several possible options. We can introduce certain new techniques and explain how it is to be applied in research. We can think of introducing some new packages. And there are really very good experts like our Vishwanathan, who are well versed in statistics and all. They will be very apt to give this kind of lecture, basically. So after thinking over for some time, I thought I should focus on foundations. So therefore, this will give you some basic knowledge of how to approach analysis when you are dealing with your research work. Of course, during my stay in the department, some of my students were exposed to my approach for analysis. Now, let us see how I can share that knowledge with all of you. I will begin with measurement. What do we mean by measuring or measurement? Normally, measurement involves quantification, giving expression in terms of numerical values. This is our life experience. We try to express certain things in terms of numerical values. Distance, for example, we have, for everything, we developed a unit of measurement. To measure, we develop some units of measurement. Distance, for example, you measure in terms of kilometers, meters. Time, for example, you measure in terms of hours, minutes. Value, asset value, for example, any article, let's say, how do we say this is 10 rupees worth, that is 100 rupees worth? So you are again using money as a unit of measurement of value. You express value in terms of money. So like this, for all our daily requirements, we develop certain measurement tools with which we try to express numerically some of these characteristics. So if you look around, around us, there are certain characteristics which are normally expressed in quantities. Like, for example, cost, profit, sales, or age of a person, export, import data, measure in terms of growth rates of a country. Most of these things are expressed numerically. So it is by nature they are easy to understand that way. So these characteristics, we call it as variables. Variables are those characteristics which can be expressed numerically, quantitatively. And as against this, we come across several other characteristics that are not easily amenable to quantification. For example, we talk about honesty. We talk about color. We talk about attitude of people. We talk about relationships. We talk about satisfaction, efficiency, effectiveness, leadership style. When you use these terms, they're not easily.
Thanks, sir. Below.
Can I go ahead? Is there any problem? Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please proceed, sir.
Yeah. So some of these characteristics are not easily amenable for quantification. So we call them attributes. These attributes are rather not readily expressible in quantities. So for that matter, in many cases, when we are trying to measure, there is no absolute measurement, there is no direct measurement. A few examples I give you. You look at a clinical thermometer, which we use to measure temperature, body temperature of a patient. So what is that we are doing here? We put mercury in a glass tube, and it is the property of the mercury when it comes into contact with heat, it expands. So using this property of this material, we try to understand changes in the body temperature of the patient. So that means we are attributing one thing to another. We are trying to understand the changes in the body temperature through the changes that are taking place in this particular material. So in that way, many cases it is indirect measurement. For that matter, the currency notes that we use. So it is printed on the currency note 10 rupees, 100 rupees. That paper as such is worthless. There is nothing. It is an attributed value. Basically, government is giving a guarantee saying that wherever you present this, in exchange you get 100 rupees worth of goods and services. In exchange, you can get that much of value. So because of the backup of the government, because the Reserve Bank of India governor signs on that newspaper, it's like a promissory note. It's on the note itself, you see the signature of the Reserve Bank of India governor. So it is what that assurance is what actually carries value. Paper as such has no value. So it is an attributed value. So in that sense, in many cases, the type of measurements that we are using are indirect, relative. There is nothing called absolute measurement. And many times we have to depend on, see, for that matter, when we are measuring knowledge of a student, all of you, most of you are teachers, you know that. What is that we are doing? We conduct a test, we assign marks, we award marks. So we are saying, based on the marks, this is the level of understanding a student has reached. This is the knowledge level he has reached. So it is an indirect one. Is there any direct scale or an instrument that can measure the intelligence or knowledge of a student? We try to develop a tool through which we try to understand the changes that are taking place in the understanding of students, in the knowledge of the student. So in all our, that means over a period of time, people have developed a set of tools and techniques through which they try to measure. They try to see how changes are taking place. So why am I talking about this measurement? Because the data that we use in research, they are not uniformly the same. They are of different types. The degree of quantification that you see in the data is very, very important. That is the foundation on the basis of which the entire analysis depends. So whether the data that we are using in research reaches what level of measurement, if we have a clear understanding of that, then we know how to choose appropriate tools and techniques for analysis. If you open any statistics book in any chapter, you have wide choices regarding a particular measurement. Say, for example, measures of central tendency. When you open this chapter, you come across mode, median, arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean, moving averages. So many varieties of averages are available. Weighted average is there. So you have so many. If the purpose of average is to give in a summary, in a nutshell, through a single figure, what exactly a situation in a particular area or particular segment, that is, the mean is expected to give us a clear understanding of a situation prevailing in a particular area. Whether you are talking about average income, whether you are talking about average performance of a worker, it gives you a general idea about the team, about that particular field. If that is the purpose, why do we need so many varieties of averages? Is it not enough to have one? Why are we studying so many 7 or 8 types of averages? If we try to understand this, why are they explaining so many things, introducing so many things? Here you will understand that there is something called appropriateness. Each of this technique can be used depending on the suitability of the technique for the data that you are using. So therefore, it is very important to understand what type of data we are using, what level of measurement that we have reached in order to select appropriate tools and techniques for analysis purposes. Now, to examine this quantification in the data that we have, that is the levels of measurement a particular data set has reached. In order to understand this, there are certain rules, 3 fundamental rules relating to number series. Number one first rule is one number is greater than, equal to, or less than another number. This is one rule. In any number series, you can say 7 is greater than 5, 2 is smaller than 7, 4 is equal to 4. So you can always compare one number and another number, say one is greater than the other. This is first rule. In number series, another rule that we observe is the interval between 2 numbers can be compared with the interval between any 2 numbers. For example, the difference between 7 and 2 is greater than difference between 8 and 9, or 9 and 8, or 11 and 10. So the interval, the gap between 2 numbers and gap between another 2 numbers, when we compare, the interval, interval may be greater than or equal to or less than another interval that we observe in the number series. So this is the second rule. The interval between numbers can be compared. The third one is every number series has a definite origin. Most of us, when we start, say for example, price series, when you are starting, usually you start with a particular date, 1st April 2020. So there is a beginning. Any number series, normally you start with 0, 1, 2, 3. So there is a definite origin with reference to number series. You always begin with something and then proceed. So these are the 3 important rules relating to number series. When we apply these 3 rules to the data that we have, depending on to what extent the data that we have collected satisfies these 3 rules, based on that, 4 levels of measurements have been identified. 4 levels of measurement has been identified. When none of the rules are satisfied, these 3 rules which I have mentioned, if none of them are satisfied, you are reaching first level of measurement. That is nominal level of measurement. This is usually a category where mostly data is in the form of classification. For example, on gender basis, when you classify people, you have 2 categories. On industry, for example, when industry is classified on product basis, you have cement factory, steel industry, cement industry, textile industry, electronic industry. Like this, you have categories. So among global, at global level, when countries are classified, you say developed countries, developing countries, less developed countries. Like this, you have classification. So when you have this kind of classification of data, then none of these number rules can be satisfied there. There is nothing called one number greater than another number, There is nothing called interval. There is nothing called origin of the data. When you are classifying, presenting data in the form of certain categories, you can't apply any of these number schemes. So this is what is called nominal level of measurement. Even at this level, you have certain statistical techniques which can be used to examine that particular type of data. We will come to that a little later. Second, when one rule is satisfied, you reach the second level of measurement. The rule satisfied will be one number is greater than another number, or equal to or less than another number. This rule, when it is satisfied, you reach second level of measurement. That is called ordinal level of measurement. Ordinal level of measurement. So here, the type of data that we have enables us to order them from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. You are in a position to order. For example, marks of students, you are able to arrange it. Okay, income on the basis of income of the people, you can arrange from highest income to lowest income. So if the price, for example, highest price to lowest price, you can arrange. So if you have data which helps you to arrange it in an order, you are reaching second level of measurement. That's called ordinal level of measurement. The third one is when the data satisfies two principles, you reach third level of measurement. The two principles are numbers can be that is greater than or smaller than or equal to another number. That's number one. Number two, the interval between numbers can be compared from one interval to another interval. When these two characteristics, when these two rules are satisfied, you reach third level of measurement. That is called interval level. Interval level. When all the three rules are satisfied, you reach fourth level of measurement. That is called ratio level of measurement. So that is the ratio is considered to be the highest level of measurement because it is satisfying all number series characteristics of number series. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in your averages, you have so many varieties of averages. Among those averages, a particular average will be suitable in a particular situation. For example, when I have explained that data that we have collected may be in the form of classification data, that is nominal data. If you are having only that type of data, model value will be appropriate average data. When you can order data, when you reach second level of measurement, median will be the most appropriate average. Because if you remember, when you calculate median, the first step is ordering of the data. You would order. So for ordering level, median will be applied. When you reach interval level, arithmetic mean will be applied. Arithmetic mean for third level of measurement. Geometric mean is most appropriate under the fourth category. So that is ratio level. So like this, the choice of techniques that you have depends on the type of data set that you have. Depending on the type of data, you choose what is appropriate. So there is something called appropriateness. When you are applying statistical techniques for your research analysis, what techniques you should choose, how you are going to analyze that data depends on the characteristics of the data or the nature of the data that you have collected. Normally, when you are using published information, like share price data or growth rates or exchange rates, foreign exchange rates, published information. When you are using a bank, RBI publishes enormous data relating to banking sector. So when you are using such published information, you have ready-made quantitative information. So the only thing you need to do is you choose appropriate techniques and try to analyze. But here, the most important thing when you are dealing with published information is the person who has collected and arranged and presented that information has a specific objective in presenting that information. The manner in which they are accumulated, the manner in which they are classified and presented, unless you go through, unless you know what definitions they have used, how they have arranged this information, for what purpose they have arranged this information. Most often, without understanding that, if you straight away use that data for analysis, we will be ending up in difficulties. We will not be giving appropriate inferences. Definitions change. For example, FDI flows we take to our own country, foreign direct investments. For the last 20 years, we are collecting data, let us say. If you see older data, the figures are different and the current data different, figures are different. That is because in between the definition has been changed. When you're looking at share price data, for example, suddenly there will be a slump in the value of the share. All along, it will be, let's say, 100 rupee share is quoted at 300, 450, 550 like this. Suddenly in 1 year, you see it is 120. Does it mean there is a drastic fall in the share? What you have to go back to the history and see whether there was any stock split in that particular year, whether the company has changed the face value of that particular share. So that is what you need to examine when you are using published information. Most often you need to edit, you need to modify, you have to see appropriate data is used for your research. That itself takes a lot of time to understand the published information, to correct it, to make it suitable. Suppose you are trying to use daily share market prices for your analysis. If you go through the published information, suddenly you come across gaps. Some shares will not be quoted on certain days. How do you deal with that? Because you are supposed, by definition, in your research, you are supposed to use daily data. If daily data for certain shares are not available, what are you trying to do? Either you have to eliminate that particular thing, or you find a way to examine how to deal with that particular gap in the data. So the data is available for almost the entire series except for a few days. Then how do you deal with that gap in the series? You have to go back to theory and see whether there is any possibility of modifying or rectifying this particular issue. So published data, when you are using, you have a different kind of set of problems. The second, most often the second source of information people use in research is through surveys, sample surveys, opinion surveys, questionnaires to collect information. Here again, one must be very careful. The completeness, adequacy, sample size, sample selection, these are all very important issues which you read in your research methodology classes. So assuming you have proper data, before you analyze, again, you look at the type of information. That is what I was talking about. You have information relating to age, you have information relating to gender, you have experience of the person, how many years he has been associated with that company or so. So you have certain personal information relating to the individuals. And also you would have collected specifically for your research questions, his views on those issues. That is another set of information that you have collected. Now, how far this information is amenable for quantification? If it is readily in quantity, is fine. Otherwise, if you are using scaling techniques, ranks, or rating scores, then you have some other set of difficulties. You need to convert them when you are presenting your research. You need to convert them appropriately. So that is where, in the beginning itself, I introduced you to the concept of measurement. So depending on the nature of data, depending on to what level this data reaches a measurement level, your choice of statistical techniques varies depending on that. Next, when you are trying to analyze data, three things we do. One, behavior of variable. We examine behavior of variable. What does it mean? We look at changing pattern in the characteristics. A doctor is interested in looking at the changes in the health of the patient, how fast he is recovering, what is the kind of reaction he is giving for the medicines, the dosage that he has given. So a doctor is interested in understanding improvement in the health of the patient. Government is interested in looking at the health of the economy, how much improvement we have brought in, who are the beneficiaries, whether our programs are really benefiting the expected target groups. So the government will be interested in evaluating their own programs, the progress that they have achieved in eliminating certain problems. So again, here you are looking at change that is taking place from 1 year to another year. So a bank may be interested in examining the performance over a period of time. NPAs, whether it is rising or falling, deposits, whether it is rising or falling, loans, rising or falling. You use certain relationships or you try to examine the changing pattern. Growth, you calculate percentage changes. So basically, in this approach, when you are looking at behavior of variable, it may be one single variable or a group of variable. Complexities can be changed. It's simple when we are looking at a single variable, we are looking at changes in performance of a particular sector. So that is a straightforward observation. So one thing that we do is examining changes, examining changing pattern among the variables. Second thing is we look at relationship between variables. It could be relationship between one variable with another variable. It could be relationship between one group of variable with another group of variable. It could be between one set of individuals with another set of individuals. Or it will be between organizations, one set of organization with another organization. Or at global level, you can compare countries, one set of countries with another set of countries. So when you are relating, you try to see whether there is any pattern, whether there is any association, whether there is any relationship. So this is another focus in our analysis. Looking at, say, for example, from our commerce, if you are trying to find out a relationship, you would like to know whether the various, for example, we can look at the relationship between price and quantity demanded. It's a very basic economic relationship. When prices go up, quantity demanded comes down. There is an inverse relationship between these two things. So similarly, when we are looking about job satisfaction, let us say, what contributes to job satisfaction? When you are examining, let us say, the type of personal policies, interpersonal relationships, the work environment, whether it is contributing to the level of satisfaction or the type of job that he is performing, complexity involved, challenge involved, how interesting that particular job is, whether these things are contributing to higher level or lower level of job satisfaction. So you try to see, you look at theory first of all. When you have clear understanding of your background relating to the topic that you have studied, then you will know what type of relationships exist. So you verify, you are checking whether these things are really happening, whether that kind of relationship is seen. So this is another focus in your analysis, looking at relationships. Third one is looking at differences. How two variables are different, how two groups of individuals are different. how two groups of nations are different, organizations are different. So how private sector and public sector performing differently. What is the reason for this difference? NPAs, for example, non-performing assets. What is the level of NPA in private sector banks and public sector banks? Why is this difference? Urban and rural consumers. How are their preferences vary with reference to brand selection, with reference to product choices? How are they different? Income levels, richer section and poorer sections. How are they different in their consumption pattern, in their investment pattern, in their spending pattern? So you try to look at the differences between two sets of data, two sets of individuals or organizations. This is the essence of your analysis. You look at change behavior, you look at relationships, you look at differences among the various categories that you have collected. Now, as I mentioned earlier, depending on the nature of data, you have 4 levels of measurement. The choices of your techniques depends on these levels of measurement. The first 2 levels, nominal and ordinal, they come under a broad category called non-parametric statistics. Because in the first 2 categories, the quantification is very low. The data that is collected cannot be expressed easily in quantities. There is inadequacy there. So we are operating with the limited quantification of data. So they are mostly qualitative in nature, the first 2 levels. The type of data that you have is mostly qualitative in nature. Therefore, they fall under non-parametric techniques. The 3rd and 4th level, interval and ratio level, when you are reaching 3rd and 4th level, the quantification of data is very high. The information that you have collected, they are clearly, most often expressed in quantities. They are available in the form of quantities. Therefore, all these advanced techniques of statistics can be applied there. So they are known as parametric. The 3rd and 4th level measurements, they come under parametric statistics, parametric level statistics. So when you are collecting information for your research, if it is a highly quantitative type of data, you have parametric statistics. If it is of qualitative in nature, like attitudes, opinions, this type of information, if you have non-parametric statistics. As I mentioned, in analysis, you attempt 3 things. Behavior of variables you examine, you look at relationship, you look at differences. Now, to perform these 3 tasks, that is to examine changing behavior of variable, to examine relationship, to examine differences among different sets of data, both in parametric and non-parametric, you have equivalent techniques to perform these 3 tasks in your analysis. You have choices both in non-parametric and parametric. As I mentioned, when you are choosing average, in the first level, nominal level, you are using mode. In the second level, you are using median. In the 3rd level, you are using arithmetic mean. In the 4th level, you are using geometric mean, I said. Suppose you are looking at relationship between variables. Then in non-parametric, to examine relationship, you have Yule's coefficient, Kendall's correlation. One of the popularly known things to you is rank correlation, Spearman's rank correlation, because the type of data that is available at this level will be ranks, scores, things like that. So to handle this type of data and to examine relationship among them, you have a different set of the relationship analysis techniques. For parametric, that is 3rd and 4th level, you have Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. which is used at third and fourth level. Similarly, if you are examining differences, let us say, in the first two levels, when you want to differentiate, you have certain simple techniques like Mann-Whitney U-test. For example, in t-test, you have paired comparison. That is, for dependent samples, you compare before and after situation and try to apply t-test, isn't it? Similarly, there is one technique in non-parametric, Wilcoxon test. So there also it is paired comparison, basically. So if you are trying to differentiate, in parametric, you have t-test, f-test, etc. In non-parametric, you have Kruskal-Wallis test, you have Friedman test, Mann-Whitney U-test. So for your purpose, whether you are examining relationship, whether you are examining differences, whether you are looking at change pattern in the data, you have choices available both in parametric and non-parametric. Accordingly, you choose what is appropriate and apply it and try to find out whatever results that you get, you try to interpret it in relationship with the theory that you have already collected. This is the essence of analysis, basically. Complexity depends on your requirement. You can use multivariate techniques of analysis. Even in multivariate techniques of analysis, the thing that you are doing is the same. Either you are grouping, you are trying to find a relationship, or you are trying to differentiate. For example, discriminant analysis, what is it doing? It is trying to differentiate, basically. So factor analysis, what are you trying to do? You are grouping, you are trying to find out relationship, how variables are together, what variables come together. You are trying to look at the relationship, group relationship, basically. So it is extension, complexity varies. You have n number of packages available. So if you, my appeal to all of you is research is an experience one has to undergo. Each and every aspect of research you have to undergo. That is what is training, basically. When do you consider yourself to be well-trained researcher? Only when you have experience. Therefore, it is essential that you should do everything relating to your research by yourself. You should never outsource anything to others. Statistics is not a big challenge because package, you are not personally doing anything. Packages are available readily. Even with the Excel, you can do a lot of analysis. So you sit 1 week, try to learn how to input data, how to get a computer will do that work. It will give you the result. So your job is to understand the entire theory and understand the results that are given and how to interpret it properly. Whether it is hypothesis testing or whether it is inferring the result that has been given by the package, that is your purpose. Your purpose is to understand the meaning of the results that are presented. So the mechanism as such, the process as such is done by machines. So you don't have to worry about mathematics behind the whole thing. So personally, you should try to do most often, that is what I heard nowadays. People never bother to do any analysis by themselves. It is simply outsourced to somebody. He does something and you can simply present it to your guide or to the department. What is your role? Have you learned anything in the process? See, when you join a course, your idea is to enhance your knowledge level. You would like to learn something. So in the process, you should achieve some gain. Therefore, my appeal is when you should do analysis yourself. Whatever techniques that are required, the computer will perform that. The only thing you need to do is how to input. You learn it, sit for 1 week, learn it, you input data, you analyze it, you get first initially you take any textbook, illustrations are there. That problem you can give, find out the result, whether it is you are getting the same result as in the textbook, you can verify. So you gain confidence by that way. Then you input your research data, get the result, and try to interpret that. And If there are any difficulties, then you can always consult experts. Your guide is there, and other people who are familiar with this, they will help you to overcome any challenges you have. But essentially, you need to do yourself everything: data collection, formulation of the problem, planning for the problem, analyzing the problem, writing the pieces, everything you have to do yourself. You have to gain that experience. Then only you become a true teacher tomorrow. You can help your students. If you don't have experience, what is that you can convey to your students? That is my appeal. I stop at this. I welcome any questions from your side.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, madam.
I'm Dr. Bhuvneshwari from Madras University Commerce Department, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir,
How are
I
you?
just want to, yeah, fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have a question on usage of artificial intelligence in research. Sir, what is your opinion about it, sir?
Basically, it's a current threat. Basically, any technology will be disruptive. Any new technology will be initially highly disruptive. So, in that sense, when artificial intelligence is introduced, probably there will be larger number of repetitive jobs will be affected. But then you should welcome change. Only thing is ethical usage of technology. That is what you need to keep in mind. People can always misuse. Artificial intelligence can also be misused. Already people using artificial intelligence for financial fraud. So that is the biggest problem. That is on one side. But any change you should welcome. Because nowadays research students are finding it very, very convenient with the chat GPT and things like that. Many of the routine mechanical works, they were able to do it much efficiently. So in that sense, as long as some tools are useful and efficiently it can be used, we have to welcome that. Everything will always come with a problem. There will be side effects. So that is what you have to be very wary and careful about it. And so also technology. Any new technology will bring benefits as well as side effects. One has to examine and try to control the usage of these things. That's why in developed countries also they're planning to introduce certain policies regarding usage of AI and how AI research can be controlled. All these are going on. Right now it's going on.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Paul Jaker, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Sir, just to add to Mrs. Bhuvneshwari's question, sir, can you just tell us very briefly on the use of prescriptive statistics, sir? It's very new. It's coming under machine learning. Predictive, more or less, people are working, sir. Prescriptive, just whatever your thoughts, sir. I mean, your thoughts is fine, sir.
I'm not quite familiar with that, Professor Jaikar.
No, not at all, sir. You can just share your
Professor
thoughts.
Ranganathan, can I chip
Yes,
in
sir.
here on your behalf?
Welcome.
And just chip in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Prescriptive analytics deals with suggesting a set of recommendations for action, and there are 4 pillars of analytics. Descriptive, where you look at numbers, what the numbers tell you, can you write a story, what has happened. Then diagnostic analytics, why the numbers behave like this, why it has happened, which I think Professor Ranganathan also touched on in his measurement scales and analysis. where hypothesis, uncertainty, probability, measurements, those things will come. Then predictive analytics, where you would like to predict what will happen. And you may have a data set, split it into 70-30, 70% you train the model and 30% you test it and all that. Then having done all this, now you are saying this. Now what should I do is prescriptive analytics, recommending a set of actions for decisions. For example, in optimization, linear programming is one of the prescriptive analytics tools. Decision analysis is another area where you are looking at expected monetary value, utility, and all that, and finally take a call. So prescription, just like a doctor giving prescription so that typhoid is cured, what set of actions you recommend is prescriptive analytics, which will be a derivative of what you have done in the earlier stages. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, the real thing is that to apply it for auditing, sir. That's where that's why I raised the question, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, Dr. Sundari here from DG Vaishnav College, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, madam.
Many of them are doing core research or something relating to commerce, and some of us have done interdisciplinary research. UGC and NEP is also promoting transdisciplinary and multidisciplinary research.
Okay.
So what is your advice for the young generation researchers, sir? Are we supposed to concentrate only on the commerce related areas for research, or do we have to integrate other disciplines for conducting research? Because traditionally commerce was supposed to be some isolated paper or royal commerce, but today without technology or without the other areas, commerce is nowhere kind of. It is transitioning, right? So what is your suggestion, sir? Because by listening to NEP or the other forums, students are generally tempted to do multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary research. Finally, their research work is not recognized, or they're not given guideship or CAS. So what is your advice, sir? Do we have to stick on to, is there any anything like only core commerce, only management, only chemistry kind of a research? What is your advice, sir? Please throw light on this.
Okay, Sundari. Actually, Dr. Sundari, you have touched upon one of the key issues. Much discussion is going on this. See, basically, industry welcomes this kind of approaches. In fact, all the national level institutes and governing bodies, policy makers, they all suggest and advocate that we should go for multidisciplinary approach. That is where innovations can come in, new ideas can be generated, effective solutions can be given. So they advocate even for institutes like IITs. IITs are very much involved in that kind of multidisciplinary research, whether it is bringing engineering and medicine together. So the trend is that industry also welcomes that. The problem only is with reference to certain traditional institutes like our university bodies and things like that. See, because when research students join teaching, some of the policies of the state government as well as the universities, they may not be in favor of this kind of interdisciplinary degrees. They have watertight compartments. Even though at national level the policies have changed and they have taken a liberal outlook, some of the institutions, they are still having a traditional policy, and therefore they look at disciplines in watertight compartments. Commerce has nothing to do with management, and the economics is nothing to do with commerce. That is for promotion purpose, for employment purpose, for guidance purpose. they have defined rules in such a way that these disciplines are kept separate. But I tell you another illustration to understand this. We talk about corporate social responsibility, isn't it? So a company which is seriously involved in contributing something meaningful in the form of participating in community development, if they want to take any social action program, when executives are asked to take up these responsibilities, if the reward system in the company still is linked to financial returns and the performance is assessed on the basis of profit generated, income that is generated, if the same rules are applied to the executives who are involved in this corporate social responsibility programs, it will be utter failure because it requires a different kind of yardstick, different kind of reward system. You cannot apply that traditional yardstick here. That is what is happening as far as people who are choosing teaching with interdisciplinary research. When they are choosing, they come across these hurdles in the traditional institutions. Otherwise, industry and some of the top level institutions at national level, policymakers, they all welcome multidisciplinary approach, and that is the trend nowadays. Everywhere, people want multidisciplinary teams to work. In corporate units, that is what, when a project is given, there is a multidisciplinary group. They come together and work. So therefore, that is a trend. That is a welcome trend, basically. But you do have some hitches in the form of some traditional policies of the institutions.
Professor, may I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Professor. Good afternoon, Professor. Wonderful to listen to you after a long time.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
HD Sharma, sir. I have met you a couple of times. I do not know, sir, you remember or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know.
Yeah. So my question is, sir, nowadays when we see research, especially in Indian context, like when I see certain PhD thesis and all, like too much emphasis is given on theory building and at the same time theory testing and at the same time theory modification also. Don't you think it's a lengthy process? If we see foreign work and all, like it takes a lot of time to develop a theory. Then it takes a lot of time to modify or test the theory. But if we see the present generation thesis, almost every thesis will have this. So what's your take on that? Like they will be developing some theory.
Yes.
So your take on this, sir? Like why is it necessary? Like every thesis has some theory proposed, whether it is relevant or not, some mediator, some moderator, something. So your take on that, Professor? Thank you.
In our ambition to present a very rather rosy picture of our work, people seem to compromise on several things and try to bringing all these ideas into their research, and in the process they may be sabotaging the whole thing. So basically, I am not against theory testing, I am not against theory building, but it requires a different approach. So one has to be very careful. Simply, the trend is take up a popular theory and try to reject it and say it is no longer useful in that. You may, that way you may get the limelight, you may get some popularity, and very soon the work will be exposed and others try to examine the truthfulness of your claims. That is what is happening in science also. Many people come out hastily with certain findings and with inadequate data or with shoddy type of work. They come out with sensational findings. So that's a very bad trend, basically. In research, there should be some kind of purity of thought as well as action. So you as a researcher, you take a simple task, you try to do it honestly and try to do it completely and convincingly, present it. That's it. It is your work, you try to justify that. And you must be able to stand on that. You must be able to convince anybody with your work and your findings of the work. But just to get popularity or to get limelight, if you compromise on processes, on data, that is a bad research. One has to be very careful about that. So theory research is welcome, provided it is done properly. See, it is not that easy to develop theory. Theory and facts, they are all related, they are all required. But one has to be very, very careful, in particularly when you are trying to reject or when you are trying to object to an existing idea. You have to be very, very careful. You must be on strong foundation.
Professor sir, with your permission, just one small insight I would like to know from you.
Yes, sir.
Need not necessarily to research, but also will be equally applicable to research. When we do some analysis of some of the financial statements or any other documents like that, sometimes we get struck in the sense the genuineness of the source, the genuineness of the information that is available in that statement. We sometimes get puzzled. A financial statement has been rated as the best and award has been given to that institution. And within a couple of months, the same institution has been pulled up for a lot of scams and other things, and the figures are being mistaken, camouflaged and other things. So when there is a case, even for analyzing and trying to discuss certain things, it becomes a serious issue when we come to the research point of view. What will be your advice on that?
Yeah, you are perfectly right, Professor Ravi. Our friends in professional circles, like for example, the chartered accountants, it is their role that is now being questioned when it comes to reliability and acceptability of these financial statements. Many of these financial statements are prepared, chartered accountants are involved in this, and they are certifying. The auditors go through that and certify. And later on, when you find a lot of loopholes, we doubt the credibility of the profession itself. That is the major issue, Ravi. Basically, when published information comes to investors and common people, we take it, we believe, because it is certified by professionals and presented at the higher levels for various authorities. We believe these statements are reliable. And much of the research is based on these published information. And as you mentioned, if the source itself is doubtful, then the whole research collapses, basically.
Exactly. The governance get a big hit, sir.
Yeah. Everything gets hit. Whether it is a Satyam case or Lehman Brothers case or any Morgan Stanley, any McKinsey for that matter, any such cases when you read, you doubt, you really lose faith. So that is the issue. The audit group as well as the professional accountants, they should be seriously involved, take their responsibility seriously. We do have, when we point out in one finger at one profession, they can also point out fingers at other professions. Everywhere there is that deterioration is there, whether it is teaching or whether it is a corporate world or whether it is a business world. Everywhere you are coming across these kind of deteriorations. So loopholes are there, very much there. That is why we are losing faith in the systems. We are losing faith in the law and order. It is very bad for the whole world. It is likely to result in chaos if you lose faith in something like this. If people do not believe in police and court, what happens to that society? You just understand. So when we assign a task to professionals, we believe they are doing a sincere work. But if it is not so, then one has to take corrective measures, prevent such things happening. To some extent, we can do that, but then it is personally they who have to take corrective actions for themselves. So yes, I fully agree. It is easy to sabotage a system, but developing a credibility is a long-term effort, very long-term effort.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very kind of you.
So just to add to it, sir, Paul Jacob again, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm trying to promote the use of this Altman Z-score, Quadratic scores, to work with this honesty of the both the going fair value, I mean the going concern and the fraudulent statement. But generally, to be frank, sir, and Mr. Ravi also knows it, accountants don't like maths and statistics. Sir. That's where it is becoming a big conflict now. But Ravi sir will definitely agree, sir. We have to bring those into the system, sir.
Yeah, you have to
And
train them.
accounting has to take maths and statistics.
Yeah, when technology changes, professions also will have to undergo change. So
Yes, sir.
naturally, yeah, they have to get trained. See, now
Yes.
government is introducing new CRPC and other codes. Then all
Yes, yes,
lawyers, all lawyers, police people, they have to be trained in that.
yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. And thank you, Ravi sir, for raising the question, sir. It at least strengthens my case for teaching whatever I'm teaching. Yes, sir.
Sir, it's my pleasure, sir. Sir, we are all professionals, so we should ensure that we keep
Yes,
up the governance principles, not only in words,
yes,
but also in practice.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm happy to share with you this 1 hour time and express my whatever small views with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Very
Thank you so
kind.
much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ranganathan, sir, for striding us deeper into the cascade of research. I thank you once again. Now, thank you all the participants for proactively participating and making the session productive. Last but not the least, let me do the honors to invite Dr. P.K. Viswanathan, sir, Professor, Great Lakes Institute of Management, to deliver the vote of thanks. Viswanathan, sir?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I could hear the mellifluous voice of Professor Ranganathan, who has been my friend, philosopher, and guide. In fact, he was my guide in the PhD program of the Department of Commerce. And it gives me great pleasure after a long while to interact in this forum. It's a very wonderful initiative. I have a few points to make. First, I must thank Professor Ranganathan for a very lucid lecture. Clarity is the hallmark of his lecture. He touched upon measurement scales, very, very important. And related to the measurement scales, what kind of descriptive measures can be meaningfully applied, and what kind of analysis will also depend on the measurement scales and relationship of variables. Very, very important measurement scales. I would also take this opportunity to build on what Professor Ranganathan said and request the research scholars to go beyond the mundane methods and all that and go a little deeper. For example, if you have got text data which cannot be quantified, you can use today plenty of social media, a lot of the data available, unstructured and qualitative data. You can do web mining, text mining, natural language processing, and those things can be related to machine learning and predictive analytics. And there are people who are doing research. Therefore, I would appeal, curiosity to learn is very important. And this lecture of Professor Ranganathan triggers in me to appeal to all to develop curiosity to learn new things and do not hate mathematics or statistics and all that, because there is no escape. You will have to learn. You can always simplify something, but can't be simpler. Something you have to learn. And everybody can learn. It's not a rocket science, but it's very important to go much deeper into machine learning. Categorization and prediction today, even with text data, is possible using machine learning. There are techniques like decision tree, random forest, and so many other things are available. And therefore, it will offer a new frontier for researchers. In that sense, Professor Ranganathan's talk today can be a launching pad, because measurement scales today, you may not get always convenient numbers. You may have to deal with text data. So social media, text data, Twitter, your Android data, a lot of things you can do in marketing, finance, and go for secondary data, which is available in plenty. And for finance particularly, you don't have to always go for a survey research. It all depends on the problem. It gives me great pleasure. I am sorry I've taken a little longer time. I must profusely thank Professor Ranganathan for a brilliant lecture, which is a starting point for further advancement in research by the Commerce Department. Professor Shanti's initiative is commendable. I thank Professor Shanti and the entire team for doing this kind of an initiative, which is a pioneering effort of the Commerce Department. And I'm also part of it. I'm happy about it. And so thanks to Professor Shanti and the team, Professor Kalevani for the introduction of Professor Ranganathan and Professor Rangarajan and all colleagues who have assembled here, and various institutions who have come to make this program a resounding success, which I can say with confidence. And I thank all the participants who have taken the time to come and listen to this wonderful piece of lecture by Professor Ranganathan. We will continue, we will touch base. I hope some opportunities will come. Let us interact. And I thank one and all. And I also profusely thank the Researchforum for giving me this opportunity after a long while. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. We will be in touch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for doing the honors. I would finally like to extend my heartfelt acknowledgement to the entire organizing team and participants, and especially Shanti ma'am, for committed to creating something memorable every time. Thank you once again, ma'am, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think we can close the session now.
Thank you,
isn't it,
Shanti
ma'am?
ma'am.
Thank you. See, we are in the process of uploading the feedback form. I request the members to give your opinions. Thank you.